launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, Football Friday is here. Man, don't you just love it? And even this morning, as I was out at 6 a.m., because I couldn't sleep all night, I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I might as well take Tally out. It was nice. It was like I almost needed a hoodie to walk Tally to Wonder Dog this morning. So a little touch of fall in the air, maybe. Yeah, it is football season, and I am here for it. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show. Thank you so much for joining us each and every day. I hope you're joining us on YouTube so you can comment. You can also join us on Facebook, on Twitter, download the app. We're everywhere, Spotify and Apple. We really appreciate all you guys jumping in each and every day as our numbers continue to go up. Thank you very much. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations at emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. And we got a hell of a show for you today once again, as we're going to chat with Pat Burnham from the Osceola, the FSU Rivals site now, and we'll talk about tonight's FSU Louisville game as the Noles try to go 3-0 with a terrible Boston College team waiting up next week. So a possible 4-0 start for your Noles. I see you representing this morning, Nick Geddes from Outsider.com.
I was about to say, it's literally Football Friday today.
Why did I not represent?
I don't know. It was the
bad.
first. I went in the closet this morning and I was like,
Bad move.
Bucks. And then I was like, wait a second. We got football tonight.
That's right. I feel
It
bad.
kind of throws my whole thing
we're bringing
off,
Pat Burnham on. So
there you go.
We got a whole segment devoted to the Noles today. So we'll be doing that. And then Brady Tinker, who we got a lot of positive feedback from you guys last week when I was in Dallas. So from DSP Media in Dallas, Brady Tinker is going to join us. We're going to talk fantasy football and gambling at 11 o'clock. By the way, had a nice night gambling last night as I review my 4 out of 5 winners. And we talked a little bit about this on the show yesterday, but I didn't give them out specifically, which I should have done. Cashed the under 53. That was nice. A lot of people thinking this was going to be a shootout last night. Wasn't really. So I pounded all the under stats. Had the Chargers backdoor cover at +4. Thank you very much, Justin Herbert. I don't know how we'll talk about that. Mahomes under 297 yards passing. That was easy. I don't even think he had over 200. No. And Herbert under 283 yards passing was my only loser on the night, and he got that on the last drive. But also, cashed the Chargers +4 backdoor. So that was nice little interesting game last night. And we were just thinking about this all up Bucs. The Chargers were the better team for the entire game. The Chargers were the better team, and which is why I took the 4 points. Their defense was there. They pretty much bottled up Mahomes for most of the game. But Jalen Watson's 99-yard interception return, which was all on Gerald Everett, not on Justin Herbert, was the difference in the game. That's a 14-point swing. A 14-point swing. The Chargers take that in, they probably win 2 scores. But they didn't. And that's football. That's football. I mean, I had everything locked up last night on all the numbers with that deal, because then the Chargers wouldn't have been throwing it as much at the end, and that's football. I mean, everything was going really well for me until that moment, and it was all because Gerald Everett was tired. He didn't run his pattern. He threw, and Herbert lets it go where he thinks he's going to be, and the guy's like, and then he doesn't even run after Watson. He bends down and picks up his freaking mouthpiece while the guy's running down the field for a 99-yard touchdown. By the way, the longest game-changing touchdown by a rookie in NFL history, changing the score. How about that?
Yeah. So
what a play.
Yeah, but you said the Chargers were the better team, but they didn't win a football game.
That's
so
right.
Who really was the better team?
The Chargers.
I don't know about that. The Chiefs still find a way to win, as they always do, because they have the best player on the planet. Stop telling me about these other quarterbacks.
Justin Herbert was way better than
the
Mahomes
best quarterback on the planet. The best player on the planet is Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
It is.
Nope.
Did you see the receiving core the Chiefs had, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
That's
the great Justin Watson.
The great Justin Watson.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers legend.
How do we let him go?
I don't think anybody's saying that today.
Well,
but,
we always
good moment.
The Bucs always talked about his talent, always talked about his talent, how fast he is. Even Mahomes said that last night. He's like, he went out to throw with him in the offseason. He's like, how fast is this white dude? Like what's his number? He's like, he couldn't believe it. He runs like a 4.35, and he's big. And he's like, he should have been a great receiver for the Buccaneers, but he just never really got into the playbook, was always hurt. Just didn't work out. And you said it right. It's like, dude goes from Tom Brady to freaking Patrick Mahomes.
He's got a lifeline on his career. I mean, kudos to him, whoever his agent, picking the right decisions or whatever.
Yeah, doing the right thing.
I mean, I look at the rest of the receiving core and I'm like, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah.
Good player. Oh, come on, man.
Mecole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster.
MVS is 6'4", 225, runs like the wind.
That's cool.
Good player.
That's cool.
Really, really good player.
That's cool. What did he do last night? 2 catches for 13 yards, 7 targets. Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Juju Smith-Schuster, who we can make an argument at 25 years old, is already past it.
What the hell happened to him?
I don't know. He looks like a byproduct of playing next to AB for those first 2 seasons or whatever. Yeah. It ain't the same player. I don't know.
You know what? I'll tell you what happened to him.
TikTok. There you go. It's the TikTok. This is why I don't have TikTok.
Ever since TikTok, that dude freaking knows that.
Okay, so
am I wrong?
With that being said, we have all these examples. Why is everybody on me about getting it?
Social media is to blame for
everything. Everything.
Okay, continue.
So why do I have to get a TikTok? I hear this all the time. I don't have TikTok, and I get
you don't
absolutely killed for not having one.
Plus, if you have it, then the Chinese have all of your personal information.
See, that's what I'm saying. So what's the advantages there?
Not that Google doesn't have all of ours, and everybody's got
Listen,
all
I'm
our
like,
information, but
I
don't want the Chinese to have.
Listen, I'm like an old man. I scroll through my Facebook.
They have to at least ask Google for it.
I scroll through my Facebook like an old man, and there's like those little reels. Have you ever just watched the reels? I'll get lost in those.
They're funny.
But I'm not downloading TikTok to go watch those reels. I'll do it on Facebook.
But I'll watch them.
I'll watch
some of them. Well, mostly the people dancing, like done. I'm not doing any of that. But they got a lot of good dogs.
There's some good ones.
Dogs and pets videos are really, really good. No, I enjoy.
And you chipped in this morning. I saw Tally videos already this morning.
Tally, because I'm up. Might as well make an Instagram live. Well, she's so cute. She jumps like in the morning. She'll come around to the side and so she'll lick my hand or something, and she's just waiting to give me the go ahead to jump up on the bed. And then she jumps up on the bed and she puts one paw here, puts her head right there, and just give me a couple kisses. I mean, how cute is that? Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? A yellow lab jumping up on there, giving me the double paw hug, and just sits there while I, pet her ears that are really soft. Her ears are so soft. And you just like, is that not the best way to wake up? Well, not the best way to wake up.
If I wake up,
Ashley,
I will not be happy
second best way.
I will not be happy if I wake up and there's a dog licking me and giving me kisses on my face. It ain't happening. This ain't happening.
This is why you're not a good human. If you don't,
good human.
You're not a good human. If you don't like a dog just giving you a hug in the morning like that, just come on, folks, react to that. I mean, who doesn't like
I got home last night.
And by the way, my dog does not have bad breath. Dog does not have
that's
bad
true.
breath.
You maintain her very well.
Yes, she's
Listen,
very white teeth,
real quick.
So I'm not getting that.
You're gonna hate me for this though. I got home last night at midnight, I think, and I saw my sister in the driveway, and I'm like, what is she doing here? She has her own home. I'm like, what are you doing here? And I come in, and I go in my room, and guess who's laying on my bed, all sprout up horizontal across my bed? Her dog. In my bed.
Your sister.
No, we're not gonna get weird now. But no, her dog just laid out all horizontal where I sleep, and I'm like, oh, hair all in my bed. That's all I think about. And this dog is like sleeping and won't get up, and oh my goodness.
See, I don't have that problem with Tally. What did she does? She does shed though. That's an issue. But anyway, yeah. So I had to make a cute little Instagram. I think everybody enjoys the dog video. Yeah. So had to do that.
Anyway, the game.
Anyway, back to the game. I still think the Chargers were the better team, and Justin Herbert, he gets hit. The interception clearly not his fault. It's so funny because Everett comes over him on the sideline and it's like talking to him, telling him what happened. Like, because he did try to tap out of the game the play before. He was telling him to take him out because he had run down the sideline. He was playing his ass off. I want to give him that. He was playing his ass off, but he was tired because nobody plays in the preseason. And he wanted to come out of the game, but Chargers wanted to keep it up tempo, so the Chiefs couldn't substitute. So they kept him in the game, and then the next play, but you can't quit on the play, bro. You cannot quit on the play, and that cost your team the game. And he came over to the sideline, and Herbert's like doing that. You know when somebody's really, really pissed at you,
yeah,
and they just can't, and he knows the camera's on him, so he can't say anything. So he wouldn't even look at him. He's just looking up, and while he's talking, Justin Herbert's like, yeah, you'll never get an effing ball at the rest of your. But actually threw it to him later on because he needed to. But anyway, that was the play of the game. And then Herbert gets hurt, and he can barely throw the ball. And I'm literally in the midst of tweeting, "You got to get him out of the game. You got to. He's your freaking franchise. You got to get him out of the game."
For the $2 million a year steel man, Chase Daniel.
Yes,
get him in there.
I mean, for God's
Let's make
sakes,
some use on this 15-year
right?
backup in the league.
Plus, I had the under on a 283 yards passing for Herbert, and he was like 267. I'm like, get his ass out of the game. But I needed the backdoor cover, so that was good too. So they left him in the game, and he runs to the sideline. He throws a pass, and he's like, oh, and he's like barely. I said, what are you doing? Get him out of the game for God's sakes. And the next throw, he throws 45, 50 yards down the middle of the field to Jordan Palmer. I think
Josh Palmer
down the middle of the field, right in between the corner and the safety, drops it in. Maybe the greatest pass I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
And he couldn't throw the ball 10 yards the play before. And he just gutted it up, made the throw, got down there. And then on fourth down, makes another throw to Palmer for the touchdown for the backdoor cover. Thank you very much. They get the onside kick. The ball's right there. It got fumbled, and it was there for the Chargers to get, and the Chiefs fell on it. So game over. Chargers win. Chiefs win in a game the Chargers should have won.
Yeah.
But that's football.
It seems like mostly people, though, wanted to talk about the Amazon experience. That was what everybody was talking about more so than the game, especially during the first half.
What were people saying?
A lot of people complaining about buffering and the picture quality not being great. I'll tell you the one thing that pissed me off. Okay, because I was working last night and I was writing on the game as well. And I couldn't watch it on my TV for whatever reason, so I had it on my laptop. You could not change tabs. If you say I had a tab open for work and I had a tab open for the game.
Right.
If you touch over to a different tab, the game stops and you can't hear it anymore. And it just completely freezes on you.
Oh, that's awful.
That's awful. If I'm trying to write based on what's going on in the game,
why does it do that?
I don't know. That was the biggest complaint for me, but a lot of people were complaining about buffering. I didn't see any of that.
Well, buffering though, isn't that on?
It's because streams.
Probably on your end.
It sounded like it because there was a lot of people saying, "Well, mine's fine." Mine was okay the entire night.
Yeah, if your Wi-Fi got too much stuff going on,
yeah,
that was probably more.
But
but I'll tell you, my biggest issue was the audio.
Yes, the Nat
sound was like there was nobody in the building, and it's freaking Arrowhead Stadium. It's the loudest stadium in the NFL, packed to the gills for a big. I know it was loud there, and you couldn't even feel the sound of the
no,
it
was
crowd
really
whatsoever.
Quiet, and Al Michaels was so muted too.
Al Michaels was so muted, and I think it was because of the Nat sound because he's hearing the same thing in his headset. I've called games like this, and if your Nat sound's not high and you're projecting emotion, you feel weird because I don't hear the crowd. So I'm giving Al Michaels a little bit of a pass here, but he may have just lost his fastball. I don't know. But he seemed so muted the entire game, which made everything sound weird. And the crowd wasn't into it, well, at least from the audio standpoint. Then the audio and the pregame and postgame, there was a lot of mixing of the audios. Whoever, that person needs to be fired. The audio director from Amazon TNF last night needs to be fired.
Oh, their boss was in the building last night.
We had to get the obligatory Jeff Bezos
the
shot.
The evil empire shot of him and Godell next to each other.
Who
signed off on that? That broke the internet too. Who signed off on that?
The guy who paid $1 billion to the NFL for Amazon football.
I tell you what was cool about the broadcast. I didn't actually watch it, but there were some people showing it. You can watch an alternative next-gen broadcast, and you can watch it as if you're watching it from the all-22 level.
Oh.
So that's really cool in person to kind of in the middle of the game. Yeah, I couldn't find it, but a lot of people were posting screenshots of it.
Where is it?
I think it must have been somewhere in front of you, and I was just trying to watch the game. But there's other little options that you could pick to watch an alternative broadcast, and one of them was the next gen all 22 type.
And seriously, dude perfect. Like,
Yeah,
I kept watching the game.
I was
with
watching
Eli
Dude
Manning.
Perfect when I was in middle school, so I don't even know they were still like around.
First of all, I'll watch Eli and the Manning brothers talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the game with Dude Perfect.
Did nothing for me.
They had an alternate thing with Dude
That's
Perfect.
what I'm saying, though. Like, they were like big like a decade ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's when you pay $1 billion, whatever the hell Bezos paid for the NFL.
Do NFL fans really want that?
No,
they just want to watch the game.
No, but there are if you're a Dude Perfect fan, I guess, then you like. Oh,
I don't know who religiously watches Dude Perfect. To be honest with you,
I mean, of all the people you could have chosen to have an alternate,
if all fails, here's what you got to do. If all fails, just throw McAfee on the TV.
Yeah,
it's if all fails.
Does
just
he
throw
do an
McAfee.
alternate? Does he do an alternate broadcast? Why don't they put him on?
No, he does not. But I mean, he's got so many commitments now. But in my opinion, just throw him everywhere.
Yeah, put him on. I'll watch that for sure. All right, so that was a very interesting game, and we're going to see the Chiefs in a couple of weeks at Raymond James Stadium, and I got to tell you, I'm not concerned.
Yeah, I'm always going to be concerned because of 15 and 87. I'm always going to be concerned.
Listen, the Chiefs are one of the better teams, obviously. You're concerned because it's going to be, but I mean, everybody's making them out to be, the Chiefs are the class of the AFC.
People were down on them coming into the season.
No, I've heard everybody talking about the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Gonzalez last night, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. 4 championship game, 4 Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I go, Ty Hill is gone, and they're talking about, he's diversified. What did he throw for? At one point last night, it was like 187.
I think he had like 240 around there.
It wasn't uber special again.
Can't run the ball still. He still can't run the ball.
I don't think the Chiefs were the best team on the field. I don't even think he was the best quarterback on the field last night. He threw a sidearm pass for a touchdown. Whoop-de-doo. Why do people go so crazy about a sidearm pass? I was doing that since intramurals at FSU, for God's sake.
You do it now?
It's not that big. I could. It's not that hard to throw a sidearm pass. It's really not. It's just people. Okay, it's a great play, but it's not like freaking superhuman. It's not like Shohei Ohtani winning, 10 games and throwing 99 miles an hour and then hitting a 450-foot home run. It's not that. It's just he throws a sidearm pass. Okay, good for you. Whatever. It's a great play, but if people make him like he's freaking Superman, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed like he's the god of they should just rename it the Mahomes Valuable MVP Award because he's going to win it forever. No, sorry, league don't work that way. So, I mean, I want to dump on the Chiefs, but I just think this crowning them the Super Bowl champions already, and that they're over the Tyreek Hill and they're not going to miss him, I think that's a little premature. Just going to say, I think it's a little premature. But now we turn our. Do we have any sound from the game last night? Did you want to hit any Mahomes or anything like that?
No.
Nah, we'll just move on. All right, so let's get to the sound with the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers and Saints. This is, such a rivalry. And first of all, for Todd Bowles to say it's not a rivalry, that's just to piss off his team. I think that's one thing Bowles likes to do publicly. Are you starting to pick up on that? He likes to needle his team a little bit publicly, which I like kind of. Whatever it takes to motivate you. I don't think you need to be motivated for this game because there's so much hate involved. It's obviously a divisional game. It's huge. They've whooped your ass for so long. Not fun for the Buccaneers and not fun for Tom Brady. Let's cue up Brady's sound, by the way. His numbers against the Saints in the 4 regular season games: 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not good. I saw a graphic this morning on Get Up. There's only 4 times that they've played, the Saints have combined for at least 6 turnovers and sacks. You know how many other teams have done that to Brady in that time span? 0. So this, again, it's the Saints rush and the physicality because, Dennis Allen is known for blitzing. You know how much he's blitzed Brady? 18% of the time. 18%. So they get the rush with 4. And if they're going to get good pressure with 4 and beat up Brady with 4, and that's with a healthy Donovan Smith and a better offensive line the last 2 years than the one we have right now, you would have to be an idiot to go into this with the same offensive game plan, which is why the Bucs aren't going to do that this year. They're not going to throw the ball 40, 50 times. They're going to run the freaking rock. And I think they're going to play good defense and keep the Saints under control. and they're not going to give away this game with sacks and turnovers because they're going to run the dadgum ball. And I've been talking about this all week, and I talked about it in week 1. This is the narrative of this football team this year for me. That's why I asked Todd Bowles the question last week, and, of course, he evaded it. And that's why I asked Tom Brady the question, and he was like, I don't know. I don't know. Is this what we are? Yes, this is what they're going to be because, especially against the Saints, because it hasn't worked with the Saints. And you gotta run right at them. That's what Atlanta did last week, if you noticed. Cordero Patterson, 124? They ran for over 200 yards. Mariota had 70 of that. But don't get it twisted. The Bucs are going to try to run the ball right down the Saints. And if the Saints make some adjustments and they bring the safety up, which, by the way, is Justin Evans. Yes, that Justin Evans that we drafted in the second round and could never, after playing 4 or 5 games for the Bucs, couldn't even run for 3 years. He's now back and healthy and is a very talented player. They're putting a lot on him. So now if they react and bring up 8 in the box, now that's going to open it up for Brady to go downfield. So that's the switch I think we're going to see in the narrative and also the X's and O's. So let's listen to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady III, and he was pretty good yesterday. I thought he was good.
By his standards.
For a hat on backwards kind of guy. And we know those guys can't play quarterback. Thank you, Colin.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great.
You've beaten every team in this league and most of them multiple times. When you go back and look at the games here with the Saints that you've had, is there any common thread? Is it just turnovers? Is there anything that jumps out at you?
I mean, that's probably the thing that jumps out the most. Turnovers. They're a very physical team. I think they beat us up physically. Just a tough, hard-nosed team. They're well coached. They got a lot of good players. They've kind of had a winning organization for a long time, so they know how to get the job done. They got a lot of great core players on both sides of the ball that have been there a long time. So it's an environment to play, but you got to go play. You play good teams on the road. You got to go play well. And just last couple of times we played them, haven't done a great job of that.
Tom, can you speak about Mario Davis? He's kind of like one of those unsung players around the league. Isn't get as much love as some of the other linebackers, but this guy, when he plays the Buccaneers, he's been one of the better ones out there.
I think when he plays everybody, he does a great job. He's a great leader, just a great guy, great player. He's it's hard to find a lot of linebackers like him that are as athletic, powerful, is fast, he covers guys, very smart and aware. Obviously cares a lot. The team really rallies around him, so I have a lot of respect for him.
Was there a moment at all Sunday where you're out there on the field with teammates or maybe in the locker room before the game, or maybe even warming up where you just said, it just kind of reaffirmed, this is why I came back, this feeling?
Ooh, trying to get in his feels.
I've always loved playing, so, yeah, football's it's a great sport. I've been in it for a long time, so, yeah, I always enjoy being out there, and, it's a great sport.
Coach Bowles told you it's not a rivalry if there's not give and take both sides. You're usually the other side of that. How much of a motivation is it that they've been able to beat you guys the last 4-6 times in the regular season?
I think it's just understanding why we're losing those games, and there's reasons why. In each game, you look at, you can look at them and look at why we won and why we lost the one time we beat them. And we just have to. It's got to be good football. On offense, defense, special teams, they're too good of a team to think that you can win one phase and win the game. So it's a challenge because they're well coached. They're in good position to do well. They have a lot of good players. A lot of guys who have been together, playing together for a long time. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They make you earn everything. Every third down is important. Every kicking situation is important. Every third down in the low red area is important. Turnovers are important. So it's a lot of things that lead to winning and losing. And obviously we haven't done a good job of that in the regular season. And, we're going to have to play a lot better if we expect to win.
There seems to be an endless fascination, at least in the media, with your private life, Tom. Is that getting old for you, or do you figure it just comes with the territory when you reach the level that you have?
I think it's just part of, our life. So, we're in front of the cameras all day. So it's a natural thing I've been dealing with for a long time.
It doesn't get old for you at some point?
I'm not going to really comment on, whether that type of stuff. So I just deal with it the best way I can.
Tom,
He
you
does
said on your
not want to
podcast
talk about his personal life
some hits and
whatsoever.
You feel a little sore. That was on Monday.
Yeah, I feel great today. Yeah, I feel great.
Byron was talking about executing and things that he would
Don't
like
listen
to
to my
do better when you
podcast,
take
then.
now a couple days removed and after you watched it stuff. I mean, that was something like he pointed to. Is there something you point to and say like specific? Obviously, turnover is always the key, but when you go into this one, taking what you guys did last week, is there something specific you look at and say, yeah, this has got to get cleaned up?
From last week, or just going into this week in general?
Yeah, from last week into this league.
Yeah, I mean, everything needs to be cleaned up. I mean, I think you're in week 1, so we're far from a finished product. We're not where we're going to be at, where we're going to be in a couple months. There's still a lot of new players, even looking at that field the other night, Julio's new, Rashad's new, Cade's new, Coe's new, Kyle's new, Robert Hainsey is new, Luke's new, Shaq's new. I mean, it's different teams, so it takes a while. It takes a lot of meetings, a lot of communication, a lot of practices, a lot of situations. So we're far from a finished product. We're going to try to keep working at it every day to see what we can do to improve.
To follow that up, when you're talking about how many guys are new, some of that is managing like people's bodies and how they feel. So in a situation where like right now there's a laundry list of receivers that, when you can't get those reps on Wednesday, I guess, how do you make up for that, or how do you kind of fill in the gaps in a situation like that when it's so many people new and then you're dealing with like resting people during the week?
Like yourself. It's a good question, Sarah.
Just the guys who are healthy have to go out there and practice and try to give us a good look. So, a lot of young players have to get a lot of reps, and the guys that are on the roster fill in and, do the best you can do and just adjust to the situation. So it's a lot like the game. We had, Chris went out and Mike went out and Julio went out, and then, everyone else got to go in. So it's not like we can, stop the game or anything. We just got to do what we got to do and put the guys in a position to try to go make some plays. So, you'd love to have everyone healthy all the time. It's really not the reality of football. It's such a demolition derby out there for all of us, and got to do your best to adjust to the situation, really, no matter what it calls for.
Yeah, I think it was a great question by Sarah, because what she was referencing was that Tom didn't practice on Wednesday with all these other guys that are not practicing, and Evans did not practice yesterday. Donovan Smith did not practice. Julio did not practice. So when you're talking about getting reps in this game plan this week, there's going to be very, very few, if any, that Tom and these guys are going to take together. That's an issue. And I do not remember last year, and I'd have to go back and look at the injury reports, but I do not remember Tom taking rest days on Wednesdays. I do not remember that. And maybe it was because, like in training camp as well, the coaches were like, well, Mike's not going to go. Julio's not going to go. Godwin's not going to go. Maybe we shouldn't put Tom out there either. Just let him get the mental work and do the walkthrough.
Yeah, and I think one of the key takeaways, honestly, from the week 1 in general, was you look around the league, and this kind of ties into having to get new parts kind of going in the offense and things taking time. And, we always know the defense is going to be one step ahead. And you look around the league, there was bad offensive line play.
Yes.
And there was some bad quarterback play, especially from some quarterbacks who we expect to be much better.
Yep.
I think the silver lining, especially in the NFC, I don't think the Bucs were one of those teams that had awful offensive line play or that had awful quarterback play, and they're breaking in more parts than any other team in the NFC.
Well, it's interesting. Where do you have to be the most precise, and the timing has to be most perfect? Those things that you perfect in practice with multiple reps, multiple time. Where is that most important? The red zone.
Yeah.
Where were the Bucs deficient?
The red
The
zone.
red zone.
And and we expected that, though, because there's no Rob Gronkowski there.
Right.
Right. And we told you the numbers.
You don't need reps to get chemistry with him.
No,
You
we
already have
don't.
it.
And we told you the
Where
numbers.
the hell are you, Gronk? Get your ass off the beach and onto the freaking football field.
Yeah, stop posing in Brady's underwear, please. Please save us that. But yeah, I mean, he's not there, right? And so I know Mike Evans is a really good target, but he's more, I feel like, more at the goal line than a traditional red zone target. I think he looks at him like the goal line, like the play where he checked to him and said, Mike, what do you want? He's
Fade
like,
it.
I want the fade.
Fade it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where you get to him. But outside of that, I mean, we know Julio's never been a touchdown threat in his career. It's just not.
In his career?
He is not, for the amount of yards that he's put up, the years he's played, his
He's had some
touchdown
pretty
totals
big
are kind of
touchdown,
low.
But he's had some big years. But I would grant you, in the last few years, he's not been that guy. Well, especially in Atlanta, because there was nobody. He's getting triple teamed. At some point, you're going to take that away. They can't do that here. Not in this offense. You can't triple team him. So I think he's going to be. But again, how are you going to develop any chemistry with Julio in the red zone if he never practices and Tom's not
Well,
practicing?
we know that's going to be all year long. Julio is probably going to not practice more so than he's going to practice. It was kind of like that towards the end of his Atlanta tenure as well.
Yeah.
When he wasn't as beaten up as he is now. So I think that just comes with the territory of having Julio Jones on your roster. But it's Tom Brady. He's going to figure it out.
All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some college. We'll get more. We'll do the rest of Brady later on in the 11 o'clock hour. Some good stuff left to get from Brady. But when we come back, Pat Burnham's going to join us live from Louisville, where tonight the Seminoles will try to go 3-0 for the first time since Bobby Bowden had rheumatic fever, I think, when he was 5. I think that's the last time they were 3-0. We will do that when we come back. Stay with us.
Let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your 6. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your 6. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to JP Peterson Show. You heard that Scott Fitzgerald, American Mortgage Services. I know rates have gone sky high, folks, but they have that great program we just told you about in certain areas. So you got to check it out. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. They can get you rates well below the sixes of where they're at right now if you qualify for that program, and it's no money down. So email him, scott@amstampa.com. All right, it's time for our Seminole Report, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. If your housing insurance rates have gone sky high, give them a call, 812-877-7799, and they will shop it around and maybe save you a ton of money. We welcome in Patrick Burnham of the Osceola, now with the Rivals Network, who joins us live from Louisville, live from Churchill Downs, where he's getting some money thrown down on some ponies today. Oh, no, he's in his hotel room. What's up?
Not a whole lot. Just got through with a nice walk along the not so beautiful Ohio River in downtown Louisville.
I remember doing a game with the great Gene Deckerhoff many moons ago up in Louisville, and that stadium, which I think was called Dad Stadium at the time. It's now Papa John's. I think they've done a lot to work on that stadium. It used to be a crap hole, and the broadcast position was outside on a ledge in front of the press box. Like you had to crawl up, you get to go up like this, this fire escape ladder. Can you see Gene crawling up that thing? Are you kidding me? And it was like out on this ledge, and it was a night game. And I'm telling you, Pat, it was like 25 degrees. The wind was blowing.
I remember that game. I remember
75 miles an hour. I had to go buy a hoodie at the shot area. I'm doing an FSU radio network in a big Louisville hoodie. It was so freaking cold. But
major upgrades since then. We're going to be cold water, drinks, food inside a very nice. They've done a really nice job with Papa John's Stadium. I'll give them credit for that.
Yes, do they still call it Papa John's after the?
You know what? I'm not sure. They changed the stadium name so much anymore. I can't keep up. I did walk past the Yum Yum Center this morning, so
there you go.
They've kept the basketball facility the same name, but I'm not sure about Papa John's. I'll always call it Papa John's.
Exactly right. Speaking of Yum Yum, I'm digging this FSU football team, and it has been a very, very pleasant surprise. Obviously, week one against Duquesne, we didn't learn much, but against LSU, I was at the game, as you know, and you could really see FSU dominating, and I mean dominating the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the football, which to me was shocking against an LSU team. I knew that maybe, FSU could hang with them. I picked them to win, but I didn't think they would be able to dominate on both lines of scrimmage like they did. Were you surprised by that? And what does that mean as the season goes forward for FSU?
Well, you hope it means that you're pretty good on both the offensive and defensive lines. And listen, I think we haven't spoken since the LSU game, but I thought Florida State had the best defensive line. And, obviously LSU lost a couple of kids in that game. The big Mason Smith kid went out early, but whatever. You can play more than 4 players on a front four anymore. I mean, that's just the way football's played. And I thought FSU had the best and deepest front four in that game. So, and I think you go back and look at practice, we had seen the offensive line, FSU offensive line, especially early in camp, struggle with FSU's defensive line. And I think what we found out is that going against FSU's tough defensive line in practice really prepared FSU's offensive line for the LSU game. And I thought they exceeded expectation against that defensive line. And, I think that what we saw in camp was a program that we thought was going in the right direction. I think that's what the LSU game indicated.
All right, so as we move fast forward to this Louisville game, what we've learned from Louisville is they're not as good a football team as I think many people thought. They've given up 200 yards rushing, over 200 yards to both UCF in a game they won, and into Syracuse in a game they got boat raced. So to me, obviously this is the matchup that you'd love for Florida State. They ran the ball very well against LSU, crushed it against Duquesne. They've got 3 legitimate tailbacks in my mind that might be able to play on Sunday. So is this where FSU goes to dominate this game in the run game?
Oh, listen, that's something that Coach Norvell and his staff have done well since they got here 3 years ago and did it with some subpar offensive lines. They've been able to produce production in the run game, and now you have your best offensive line in three seasons and 3 very, very capable running backs in that backfield. Yes, I think that's where you run. I mean, that's where, the trend is that Louisville held UCF to 45 yards in the second half of that ball game the other night. The facts are that they gave up 200 yards in both their two. So is the trend going to continue, or are they going to be who they've been through 2 games or this first 6 quarters of the season? And there's, I think that FSU should run the ball. I think they will run the ball. And listen, that's going to open up some opportunity. If they can run the ball against Louisville the way other teams have run it against Louisville, it's going to even open up more opportunities in the pass game. So, yes, I think you attack their weak point. And also, I think the reason you want to do that, JP, is even though he's not having the kind of senior season to this point that you thought he was going to have, it also reduces the amount of possessions and plays that Louisville gets. And, Malik Cunningham, despite the fact that he's struggling as a passer, does have times where he's extremely effective throwing the ball, and he's always going to be able to run it. So I think that's another reason you want to run the ball effectively if you're FSU.
All right, I was going to go to Jordan Travis, but since you mentioned Malik Cunningham, what's going on with him, you think, in his senior season? I mean, he's a 4-year starter. The guy can run. He reminds you a lot of Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's not to that level, but he's pretty damn good. And when he gets out, he's tough to handle. How does FSU contain him?
Well, I mean, you got to be. It's cliche, and you got to. I told somebody yesterday, if I see one person lose contain, I think I'm going to jump out of the press box. I mean, and we see it all the time, right? It's just like, I mean, how many times have they've run the wheel route for 1,000 years, and nobody can stop the wheel route, and everybody knows if you're a defensive end or the edge player, you got to keep containment, and every game we see it get blown. But anyway, listen, you got to be integrity sound in your pass rush. Got to make sure you box him in. Listen, he can still take up off the middle. He's an extremely dynamic athlete. So even if you've got contained, he can wiggle through the middle. But listen, I think you want to force him to pass. He's a 58% passer this year, just above that for his career. He was completed 48% of his passes against UCF the other night. And at times looked reluctant to throw the ball, which kind of morphed back to when he started his first game against Florida State so many years ago, where he was absolutely petrified. So I think that you make him throw the ball. Now you can, and it gets oversimplified when you say load the box, right? Everybody thinks, well, you're just going to go in there and stop the run with 8 or 9 guys, but you can disguise coverages by walking guys up. You can cause some confusion also in the pass game, but I would force him to throw the ball, and you can adjust if he starts becoming successful. But, for my money, I'm going to make him prove that he can sit back there and pick me to death and beat me that way, as opposed to what they want to do, which is Scott Satterfield's offense is all predicated off that stretch zone, and which then you start booting off of it and waggles and all those things. But I think you'd force him to throw the ball.
Pat Burnham joining us here from the Osceola, part of the Rivals Network from Louisville. FSU Louisville tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. Pat played the college game, coached the college game, and now he writes about it and talks about it. He's pretty damn good. All right, so let's talk about Jordan Travis. I went back and watched the FSU-LSU game, and I'll tell you what, I don't think he got enough credit for what he did. The escapes, the arm angles that he throws at, some of the downfield balls, the accuracy, what was the 8 of 12 on 3rd down?
Yep.
I mean, he played a freaking phenomenal game, and it seems like nobody's talking about this. He'll play on national television tonight, and maybe the running game will overshadow him again. But my goodness, I thought he played fantastic, and I think he's going to have a terrific senior season. Should we be talking more about Jordan Travis?
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, I think, coming out of the LSU game, it was the fact that they beat LSU, right? There were a lot of individual efforts that were probably overlooked. We talked about Jared Verse because he had the field goal block, and the flea flicker and all that. But yes, listen, I said after the game, and I said it on our Seminole Sidelines Sunday show, that I thought he played the best game of his career.
I agree.
We had heard about the confidence. We'd heard about the changes that he had made, the ownership he'd taken of the offense, the leadership he had exhibited since the end of last season. And, sometimes you're worried that's coach speak, right? Because you hear it from all 131 head coaches that, my quarterback's done this or that. And so you always have that question. But, yes, he is a remarkable athlete who needed some confidence and needed some playmakers around him. And I think the fact that they have added the receivers and they've been successful with Turnentine and Dimitri Emmanuel in the portal helping protect him. He's got better protection. He's got more key parts around him. So I said all along that if they hit it right with the portal and he had developed the way we've been told he was developed, which it certainly looks like he has, that he would have his best season as a Florida State starting quarterback. And he is extremely confident right now. And you want that in your quarterback, right? I mean, you guys cover pro football. You cover one of the most confident quarterbacks in the history of the game there in Tampa Bay. But I don't think he's a cocky guy, but he's a natural born athlete. And when he cannot make plays from the pocket, we saw it the other night against LSU. He still has that natural feel for the game where he can get flush from the pocket. I do think he probably has done a better job of keeping his eyes downfield when he's flushed than he has in the past. But certainly he's a guy that can make plays, but I think he's making more plays within the structure of the offense, which will only make his ability as an athlete and ability to run the ball even that more effective if they can be successful in the structure of the offense. But yes, I think we're going to have to talk a lot more about Jordan Travis as this season moves along.
And you mentioned it. I mean, better protection obviously helps. And through 2 games, I think this FSU offensive line rebuilt has passed that test. And I saw you wrote in your article this week, I think it might have been yesterday, how they performed in the LSU game, and they allowed 2 sacks, which you take any day against the LSU front. Yes. And as you mentioned, both of them went for no gain, correct?
Yes.
Because of the way they were. So, and they, by the way, without Bless Harris, who they brought in to be a starter, right? And of course, he goes down, and they were still able to overcome that. So my question is it too early to already make a determination, hey, we fixed this already? Or do you think you need more of a sample size to make that already?
Oh, yeah. I think at the end of the day, this is about being better than you were last year. This is about making an aggressive step in the right direction. Listen, they're going to play some awful good football teams. Who knows what is the true version of Louisville's defense? Is it the last half against UCF? Or listen, Louisville's going to come out fired up for this game. It's their first home game. A lot of people doubting them. And then, of course, you got Boston College next week. And then then the real tests are going to start with Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson. So I think you've got to see what they did against LSU repeated, right? I mean, it's all about validation. So are they better? I think this is the best football team Florida State's had in 5 years. What that looks like at the end of the season, we'll see. But certainly you win this ball game. Boston College is a shell of what we thought they were going to be. They cannot run the ball. They've run for 54 yards all season. So you get through the Louisville game, take care of business next week, and you go into the heart of that schedule, Wake Forest, NC State, Clemson, whatever. I might have got the order mixed up, but you go into 4-0 and with some confidence that this team has not had in a while. And you guys know, you've been involved in athletics. Confidence is a funny, funny thing. It overcomes deficiencies in talent and scheme and all those things. And I'm not saying that they had deficiencies in talent and scheme. And then again, of course, Nick, I think the other thing is they got to stay healthy at certain positions, right? I mean, so I do think there needs to be a bigger sample size.
And speaking of that, Pat Burnham of the Osceola joining us here of the Rivals Network. What is the injury situation this week on both sides of the ball? Any major injuries to worry about? We know Bless Harris.
Yeah, I think they're relatively healthy. I mean, I went to practice Wednesday, did not see anything significant that stood out to me. So I think they've got, listen, they do a good job of, I heard you guys talking about managing reps in practice with the Bucs. And,
right.
There's certainly some rep management going on at practice with certain position groups. And, obviously, JP, just so you guys know, we have to be very careful talking injuries. We are allowed to be at practice, but the agreement is unless Mike has talked about injuries publicly about a particular kid, it's off limits. So, but I think they are relatively healthy. Listen, I think that's going to be one of the keys to this season at certain positions for them. But listen, I thought they had a very good Wednesday practice. I thought it was much better than the Wednesday practice they had going into LSU. It looked smoother, crisper. They seem to, I know Mike was upset the off week. I thought they needed to be more focused after they kind of went through a kind of lackadaisical Tuesday practice when they came back from LSU. A little bit better Wednesday. Then they took a break, long weekend, but certainly Wednesday's practice, they looked good. They looked healthy, I think as healthy as you can be after 2 games and an off week.
All right, last question for you. Not about tonight's game, but. And I'll get a pick from you in just a second. I was talking to a couple high school coaches yesterday, and at a high school that has some really good talent, and they were saying FSU is not a presence here as much as they should be. I've heard it from a couple of high school coaches around here. Not as much as Miami, not as much as Florida, not as much as Alabama, not as much as Georgia. And that's a problem. That's a huge, huge problem. What is your take on how FSU is equipped right now in terms of recruiting high schools in Florida? I've heard they got, a good presence in other states, but not in Florida. What's your take on that?
Listen, in order for Florida State to be successful, just like Florida or Miami or now UCF, that they're going to be in the Big 12, if you want to win in the state of Florida, you better start it by winning in the recruiting.
Damn right.
Florida State has struggled for some time in Tampa Bay. Clemson for years with all those receivers. Jeff Scott used to come down to the Tampa Bay area and kick everybody's ass.
That's right.
They took a ton of receivers came out of the Tampa Bay area. Listen, there's some really good football players there. Now, listen, there's two sides to every story, right?
Exactly.
And I don't know who you talk to, but do they have a kid they think FSU needs to be recruiting and they're not recruiting?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, there's some gray area in all of these conversations.
More than one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard high school coaches say, I got a kid that needs to be nobody. I mean, I've heard it.
I know. It's not that. That's not the issue.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that there's two. Everybody knows that, hey.
If Nick Saban's sniffing around here a lot, high school, they probably need
very
to be.
true. Very true. But listen, they're 14 deep into their, as far as commitments. You would think that as much as Mike has used the portal, and I know you're asking a more specific question, but it's where I would think that they're going to listen. I followed two kids in the Tampa areas that have picked up offers here. They offered a 2024 defensive end linebacker from Carrollwood Day, Solomon Williams, yesterday.
Okay.
So they're there. Are they present enough? Obviously not for those high school coaches. And I would make sure if I was a high school coach or if I was FSU and hearing this, I would make sure that my director of high school relations was making a quick run back through his Rolodex and hitting up all these high school coaches in Tampa Bay and checking in on them and seeing how, listen, there's no excuse anymore, especially with the way that Florida State has invested in support staff for any high school coach to hear in the state of Florida to feel like he's not being heard.
Okay.
They have a ton of, they have Gerard Ross on staff now, who was a high school coach in Jacksonville for 10 years, played at Florida State. They've got Ryan Bartow, who's a Miami guy who worked for Rivals or 24/7 or somebody. And, they got the support staff that they should be contacting these coaches. There's all these rocks should be raised and looked at. But anyway,
All right. Give me a pick for tonight.
I've got FSU 33, Louisville 21.
So they're going to cover the 2.5. Yeah, I'm heavily invested in giving 2.5 points tonight to Louisville.
We may find out that I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, but I just think that there's two programs going in the opposite directions, and this will be the best team in my opinion. And listen, we all know that what we see one week doesn't always translate to the next, right? We see it every sport, every week. But I think this is two programs headed in the right direction. And this is, I said before the season started, this is the most important game on FSU's schedule, win or lose at LSU. And I still believe that's the case.
It's the ACC opener, so we'll see what happens tonight. Pat, tell everybody how they can get all your great content at the Osceola and Rivals Network.
Yeah, please go to floridastate.rivals.com. We've got recruiting stories up. We just published our keys to victory for Florida State. JP joined us earlier for our Osceola tailgate show. That was just posted. So, listen, a lot of good content written and video podcast, but Florida State. .rivals.com. And guys, I appreciate it as always.
Yeah, great job, Pat. As always, have fun tonight in Louisville. All right, we'll come back and take a break. Excuse me. We'll get to a little bit more college football on the other end when we come back. Quick break, and we're going to get back to some Brady as well. And Brady Tinker coming up at the top of the hour to talk gambling and fantasy football. So stay with us. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our first hour by Emerging Investigations. Do you think your spouse is cheating on you, or maybe you're involved in a divorce where they're hiding money, or you have a missing person and maybe the cops aren't doing enough, or just an issue in a criminal matter? Well, the folks at Emerging Investigations can help you out. They have state-of-the-art technology and all the techniques of an experienced private investigation agency. So whatever it is you need, they can hook you up. And it's real easy. Just give them a call. We're going to hear from Rachel D'Antonio later on in the show. We'll have an interview we were going to run last week, but where she talks a lot about what they do and how they do it. It has some great stories about some of you guys, some of you dumbasses that get caught cheating, and also some of you dumbasses that commit insurance fraud. Okay, if you're trying to get lots of money from an insurance company, you probably should not be out water skiing in public. Just a little hint there. So she'll have a story about that later on in the show. Point is, just give them a call. If you have some questions about how it works, how much it costs, all that stuff, they'll be able to give you a really, really good idea of what they can do. So, stop wondering what's going on in your life. You need to make some big decisions in your life. Then you want accurate information, and that's what they do at Emerging Investigations. So go ahead and go to the website, emerginginv.com, emerginginv.com, and you'll see some information there, their contact information. Send them an email or give them a call. They'll answer the phone, and they'll talk you through the whole thing. It's a free call. It doesn't cost you anything to call. So if you have some questions, just call and find out what they can do for you. I think you'd be surprised. Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, and please tell them you heard it on the JP Show. All right, Brady Tinker's coming up here in just a little bit, and we'll talk some gambling and fantasy football.
He's ready to go.
Is he ready to go?
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go early? Well, that's what we expect from a guy like Brady Tinker. This guy he's on it, as he always is. What's up, Brady? Good morning to you. How are you, my friend?
How's my new microphone working?
Let's hear you again. Test. Give it to me. Sounded good, brother. Sounded good.
Good morning.
How are you? I like your background. You got a lot of interesting pictures there. What do I see there? Is that
Let's see. Romo and Witten are behind me on this side, and a radio show that I did maybe in 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
This side is Kansas City Royals. That's Jim Sundberg in 1985, sliding across home plate in Game 6 against the Cardinals.
Yes.
Right. So that was the first World Series championship. My mother actually painted this picture. I have very talented artists. Both my mother and my father were Hallmark Cards people. So anyway, yeah. So I got as you do. You get to be around a lot of cool people, and sometimes you get some cool stuff. It's part of our job.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at this point in my life, most of it's packed away in storage, so I have to
get it out.
I know.
You should see. If I took a camera and showed you this room, you'd be like, "Good God, looks like a sports fan threw up." There is stuff everywhere. There's Muhammad Ali stuff and Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson, and certainly plenty of Royals and Chiefs stuff because that's home. But anyway, I like my little studio. Good to see you boys this morning.
Good to see you as well. And we were just talking with Pat Burnham from the Rivals Network about the FSU Louisville game tonight. And as we'll talk some fantasy football, we'll talk some gambling. But we'll do gambling first. I had a big night last night. That was fun. But I think FSU is shouldn't use the L word, but I'm going to use it. A lock at 2.5 against a bad Louisville defense that can't stop the run.
Yeah.
And I think FSU has 3 tailbacks that can play on Sunday and an improved offensive line. I like where they're going tonight. What do you think about the game tonight?
I agree. I think their body language, their momentum, everything that they have going is going in the right direction. This should be easy for you. This should be easy money. You're sending people in the right direction.
At last night's game, I'm watching the pregame show, and everybody's telling me it's going to be a shootout and all this blah, 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 blah. What we've seen in week 1, and I think we're going to see some residue of it in week 2, is these offenses are not ready to go yet. They're not on the details. Nobody plays in the preseason. I love the unders everywhere. Now, it barely covered last night, but I think it was well on its way to covering easily on the under. I'm on a lot of unders this week. I love the under in the Bucs game, the Bucs-Saints, 2 really good defenses going in this game. What are your trends this week that you're looking at?
Yeah, there are a lot of unders this week. I took the over in last night's game and missed it by, I think, a point. But I did nail, I did take San Diego in 3.5 was what the line was. San Diego and Kansas City in Arrowhead traditionally just play flat 1-score games. And it was somewhat of a compelling game. Again, being a Kansas City guy, Mahomes is amazing coming from behind. I read this morning that he's 9-8 in his career when he's been down 10 points or more. And the league in the same amount of time that he's been playing is roughly 15.5% at getting wins when they've been down by 10 points or more. So it's, we've all through the years seen those guys, right? That guy, you don't want Marino to have the ball. You don't want Montana to have the ball. You don't want, and certainly Mahomes is that guy. He doesn't really care about the scoreboard. He always thinks they're going to score. I thought in that game last night, there were some deficiencies for the Chiefs that I hope will get better. Juju Smith-Schuster, who was everybody's first fantasy pick as a wide receiver for Kansas City, just did a disappearing act. Ran mostly short routes. I'm not sure who's going to go deep for them. That kid Watson actually had some plays in the preseason, but I can't tell anybody to add him. The good news is Pat looks at the whole field. And that's also one of his strengths, his ability to sort of feel the rush. I almost get the feeling Pat knows when he's going to be compromised on the left or the right side before he says hike. So really there's no 3, 5, and 7-step drops with Mahomes. If he needs a 12-step drop, he's good with it because that will buy him time and he's got the arm strength to do anything he needs to do. So San Diego's really good. Excuse me, the Chargers, they're still in Jack Murphy Stadium as far as I'm concerned. The Chargers are really good. I thought their defense looked great. That safety, Derwin James, when he plays, is an absolute impact player. Therefore, they have 3 genuine stud stars on that defense. They should be good. But the bottom line is they should have won the damn game. And the bottom line is they should have been in the playoffs last year. And I would think that head coach is going to be under some scrutiny. Also, let's see what happens with their quarterback going forward.
I'll tell you what, there's a game I wanted to talk about, and it's a Sunday night game, Chicago and Green Bay. And normally I'd look at this game and go, okay, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's in Lambeau, it's against Chicago. He owns them. But things are different this year, and I have 1 week to go off of, albeit a rainy day, but the Bears defense was fantastic against San Francisco. Green Bay offense, not so good against Minnesota, and Aaron Rodgers looks like he's very disgruntled with his receiving core, and I don't know about that. The line I saw is plus 10 Chicago, and I'm telling you, that seems pretty enticing to me. What do you think about that one?
You know, I've been around so long that great players rarely stay down. Rodgers is a whiny bitch. He's making massive guaranteed money. Maybe he didn't get quite enough ayahuasca or whatever illegal substance that's actually sort of legal because he's him and he and Tom can do whatever the F they want to do. Maybe, I don't know. But Green Bay's defense, I think, is pretty good. They were a little bit embarrassed in the Minnesota game. I don't think they're happy with the fact that everybody thought Minnesota's probably going to win this game and then went out and just did it. But Rodgers did hit, Christian Watson, is that his name, for a touchdown that he dropped. Romeo Doubs, the other rookie, actually is getting open and looks good. I think those two rookies are going to be weapons for him. I really do. Now, if Lazard plays, that will really help. But overall, I reluctantly, honestly, gave the points. I don't think Justin Fields is very good. I think that they're going away from their best running back for whatever reason it is. And I would double team Mooney all the time, and I'd let everybody else do whatever they want. I just think Rodgers is too good. There were some plays that were missed in that Minnesota game, and Minnesota's defense is a lot better than Chicago's defense. So I am giving those points, although I'm not running out there with bags full of money doing that. I'm just saying in my opportunities where I'm supposed to make a pick, I've gone ahead and given the points.
Yeah, if I'm staying away from that game, putting money on it. But if I have to, 10 points is a lot of points in the NFL, and I feel like Green Bay will get better, but I don't know how fast. I don't know how fast.
I really thought Justin Fields was allowed to sort of get into that game. I thought San Francisco, both those teams last week in the rain played that game like 10 will win. 10 will win. And San Francisco especially did it. And the truth is, San Francisco needed to take their shots down the field. They only did it once. He completed it. Unfortunately, completed it to a slow guy who got caught. But the truth is, all of those little dink and dunks, both these teams have to try and throw the ball down the field. I think Fields is extraordinarily average, and I think he's going to be perplexed by what Green Bay throws at him defensively. I really do. I think defense. The under is the play here, certainly, because I don't think Chicago's going to score many points, but I don't think Rodgers is going to allow them to lose this game.
Brady Tinker joining us here of DSP Media, longtime fantasy and gambling expert. Let's talk Saints and Bucs, shall we?
Yeah.
I love the under in this game. I think it's at 44, somewhere around there. You got two really, really good defenses. And I think the new identity of this football team, as we talked about last week, is to run the football. They did it well on a good Dallas team. The Saints gave up over 200 yards rushing last week, and all this talk about Brady throwing picks and getting sacked. The best way to combat that is to run the dadgum football, and I think that's what the Bucs are going to do this week. Plus, a lot of their receivers are injured, although they're going to play. I think Godwin's the only one that's not going to play.
Right.
The rest of the guys are going to play. Worried about Donovan Smith. I think he's going to play, but how effective will he be? Is basically going to be one arm, but I still think the Bucs can run the ball. Again, I'm not running to the window with a lot of cash on this game, but I think the Bucs are going to win it. I think they're 2.5 point favorites in this game.
Yeah, that's what it was yesterday. I haven't looked this morning.
Yeah, how do you see it?
I'm worried about this game for the Bucs. This has been a bugaboo for them. Tom even mentioned it after the game. Going off the field after the Dallas game was, we're going up against a team this week that we haven't had much luck against. The truth is they haven't had any luck against that team since Tom's been the quarterback. And I think there's something to that, especially when that team you're talking about has a good defense. And I think New Orleans wasn't very good last week defensively. New Orleans was very lucky to win that game. Jameis was asleep. He looked like the high school quarterback that he sometimes is. And then he was allowed to wake up in the second half against a bad team. But I think New Orleans defense is better than what you saw that last week. I think if you guys are going to win, you better use all three of your running backs, because Fournette got a ton of touches last week. I just don't think you can have Fournette at his age and with the physicality that he plays with, tote it 25 times or catch and run it 25 times. So I'm with you on running the football. I think that is what they need to do to be able to get people off of Tom a little bit. And Tom didn't look extraordinarily comfortable against Dallas. He just looked like a guy that knew he was going to win. That your defense was too physical for the Cowboys. I'm not sure that will be the case in New Orleans, but I think New Orleans will try to do the same thing that you guys are going to try to do. Kamara didn't get nearly enough touches, and we're coming off a year where Kamara didn't get enough touches, and I don't understand that. He's the best player. Yeah, Jameis is such a wild card, right? Great plays, great throws, terrible plays, terrible throws, terrible decisions. Don't you just make it easier on him and run him out of the backfield over to the slot position, let him run a route, either an option route, either inside or outside against a safety or a linebacker about 10 or 12 times a game? That part I don't get. And Sean Payton did it forever. He showed everybody how this works. Run everything through that guy. So I think that they'll address that. This is definitely an under for me, no doubt about that. I don't know who I think is going to win. I wouldn't bet this game either. I don't love you guys giving points, and I wouldn't necessarily love New Orleans on the other side giving points. So if you have a money line feeling on this game, go ahead and do it. Tampa is a really good team, and New Orleans did not look like a really good team last week. I will grant you that.
All right. By the way, if you guys have any fantasy questions, you can line them up in our chat, or you can get us at FanStream JP or at the JP Peterson Show. I did ask you to put together your 3 best bets for the weekend. What do you got, Brady?
I didn't get it done. So hold on. Let's go through them one at a time. This was a little bit last minute. I really think Baltimore and Lamar are going to play well. The only thing I saw against Baltimore last week is that even though Bateman caught a touchdown, Bateman needs to be his number 1 wide receiver, and he dropped the pass. His routes weren't great. He got buoyed by a touchdown, but he needs Bateman to be his number 1, along with Andrews. So, but I do think, even though Miami won their game last year, 22-10 in November, and I like Miami. I like the way Miami's trending. I really do. I think Baltimore's on a mission. I think Lamar's on a mission. So I'll take Baltimore at home, giving the points against Miami. And I think the under may come in here as well. Jets at the Browns game is another one. I think the under comes in on Jets at the Browns game too. I think both these teams will try and run the ball. The Jets didn't get nearly enough out of Breece Hall. Looks like maybe for some reason they don't quite trust him. I thought that was odd. So hopefully they will try and get him in the game more. But Kareem Hunt and Chubb look good. And if I was Cleveland and I had that defense, I'd use those 2 running backs to the tune of 40 touches at least. I mean, I just would, and take the pressure off of that quarterback.
Absolutely. All right. In terms of fantasy, I'm not going to throw a lot of matchups at you, but just let me ask you what you learned in week 1. And should we trust what we saw in week 1 moving forward? I mean, it's like I put Ayuk in my lineup this week because I still think he's a great play this year, even though he didn't do much last week in the rain and the slop. So I'm not going to take much from that game. I'm still going to stick with the feeling that I think Ayuk's going to have a good year. So give me just your general feeling on a lot of the guys that everybody have on their team, the big names that you learned from week 1. The guys that everybody have on their team.
I didn't overreact to anything in week 1 except when we did when Tito and I did our show of, is there anybody cutting or dropping? I said, I'm dropping Mac Jones right now.
Yep.
Because I'm
hoping that we're having a little Wi-Fi issue. I don't know if it's on your end or my end, but just keep going.
And, is interact.
It's not resolving itself. Hey, Brady, sorry to tell you we're having a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue. I don't know if it's on your end or my end. Waiting for it to kind of clear here, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think it was on his end there because he just dropped out of the stream. So we'll see if we can get him back here a little bit. But I think he was going into Mac Jones there, thinking that he was he saying he was droppable after week 1?
Yeah,
which
absolutely. 100%.
Which I 100% completely agree with, because
Devontae Parker, who's their number 1 option, I think I'm going to downgrade him and look for to upgrade somewhere along the line. I picked up. I was shocked to see it that Taysom Hill was available in my league, and I went and got him. Dropped Irv Smith and got Taysom Hill. I think he's going to have a big year.
I hope we can get Brady back in here again, because I have such a conundrum that I was going to ask him. I mean, my season's already over and it's week 1, okay? Because I'm a Dak Prescott owner, I'm a Najee Harris owner, I'm an Alvin Kamara owner, and I'm a George Kittle owner. And all those guys are hurt right now. And George Kittle completely has screwed me over so far. Didn't like he's going to play in this game. And so I have like 3 backup tight ends that I have to choose between. So I was looking forward to asking Brady that if we can get him back in here.
I'll see if we can get him back in. I'll just text him here. And who else are you sitting and starting this week?
Yeah, so that one I have to make a decision. It's a Taysom Hill, who only got 26% of the snaps in that Saints game. Again, alarming usage, especially because he was their entire offense for the first half, and he kills the Bucs all the time. So I have him to choose from. I have Mike Gesicki, who I can go back to the well again. But again, it looks like the Dolphins are content with just using him as a blocker, and he had 1 target last week. And then Ty Conklin, who's the tight end for the Jets. Now, they threw like 55 times. And I feel like they're going to keep doing that all year long, especially if Joe Flacco's playing. They're just going to have to throw 50 times.
Yep.
And he had a touchdown, I think, and he finished like 12 points. So might throw him in there. At the moment, I have Taysom Hill penciled in, as much as I hate to say it, because I just think he's that Swiss Army knife, and he always shows up against the Bucs. And if you're Dennis Allen, you got to use him more than you did last game. So we'll see. But it's definitely not a situation I want to be in. Let's just put it that way.
Brady is rebooting and going to jump back in. Yeah, I some of my conundrums are at running back as well. I have Leonard Fournette. I'm gonna start him even though he's dinged up. I still think he's going to play. I still think he's going to get a bunch of touches, maybe, but I think Brady's right. He can't continue to get 25 touches. Rashad White is going to have to step up, and I have sneaky suspicion Sneak Vaughn might get a few carries this week. And he was inactive last week because he's not playing teams. But I think they're going to, with Fournette banged up a little bit, I think they're going to need a little insurance at running back. And I still don't know what Gio Bernard is doing on this team. Taking up a roster spot, to be quite honest.
He might not be here much longer. I don't know.
It might be his week to come out, because they're going to need some depth at the running back position this week. No question about it. Who else? You're the fantasy expert here. Who else is sitting and starting this week?
Sitting and starting, boy.
Jameis Winston is another. Again, this game I feel like it's going to go under. So I don't think. And if you have Mike Evans, do you start him this week? Because
that's a good one.
It's Lattimore week.
That's a good one, because historically he has not performed well against Marcus Lattimore. It's just or Marshawn Lattimore. It's so hard to handicap anything in this game. It's like I have to throw out so much of what we saw last week and what we expect out of Mike Evans because of this matchup and historically how it's gone. So in my opinion, though, it is Mike Evans. I think you always have to must start him anyway. I mean, because you don't want to have him on your bench and then he does something. He's always a threat to score. So, but we'll get Brady's.
Brady's back with us here. We're, Brady, if you can hear us, we're just debating.
Boys, sorry. I don't know what. Streaming is a different world.
Yes, it's.
We found that out last night in Amazon. I mean, we can't keep a clean stream.
There are six planets in retrograde right now, and it's affecting a lot of people's emotions and the Wi-Fi. So that's I blame it on that. We're just debating Mike Evans whether to start him this week because it's Lattimore week. And Lattimore's had a good matchup against Mike Evans. Would you start him this week?
Yes, I absolutely would. He is Mike Evans. He's got 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's tough as a boot, and I think he's gotten even more so mentally tough, if you will, playing with Tom, because it's just a requirement. If you want to ride the rest of what Tom's got to the Hall of Fame, then you up your emotional game. He's always been tough. He's always been very physical, but his consistency is something else. So I absolutely would. Your best players have to play, and they have to be great. If you guys are going to win, Evans is going to be good. Otherwise, you're not going to win.
Well, yeah, and he hasn't been very good, and neither is the Bucs offense in these matchups. Talk to me about some emerging receivers this week that you have, maybe in daily fantasy, or you're high on their matchup this week.
I wrote 2 down, and now I'm struggling to find them. I like what the Broncos are doing. The Broncos will put up a lot of points against the Texans. So I thought Judy looked pretty good. We all had an idea: is Judy Lockett, right? And is the big kid DK, and is that the way it's going to work? And it kind of did work that way. I mean, Denver lost, and everybody's focusing on that, but he threw for an easy 325. Both his receivers either went over 100 or were right at 100, and it kind of looked like, if you close your eyes, yeah, maybe Jerry Jeudy is Lockett. He gets deep very easily. I think the only, Jeudy went 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round in a lot of these fantasy drafts that I was watching in Vegas with guys who make a living doing this. So I think Russell can support those 2 wide receivers. So I'm big on Jeudy breaking out this week against the Texans. The Texans will give up plenty of points. I don't know what I think about the Eagles wide receivers. It's such a crapshoot deciding on that. As far as the Bills go, I'm not sure that I would be all over Diggs this week. I think, to be honest with you, there's some sneaky wide receivers there for Buffalo.
Dawson Knox, I got him, and he didn't do much in week 1.
He did, and those 2 guys are best friends, so that'll get better to Knox. It really will. I think maybe they decided early they were going to try and punch people in the mouth, and he stayed in more. He didn't run as many routes. I just can't see. That's a best friend thing. I think the best friend thing comes back. I really liked him. I think with the Packers, I mentioned earlier, both those rookies are plays. Maybe Christian Watson's a play. He was, not only did he drop a touchdown pass, he was 3 yards open. And there's a reason they used a late first or between pick on that kid. He's big. He runs good routes. He reminds some people of different players, but he's got speed too. So if you're looking for a 3rd wide receiver, a sneaky flex play, that kid might be the guy he'll go back to. Rodgers is sort of known to giving you a chance and going back to you when you F things up in his mind. And I don't think he has any choice. I think Romeo Dubes and Dubs, whatever it is, I like it being Dubes just because it sounds like
Dubes.
I like Dubes, man. And I love the name Romeo. It's like, man, my favorite Romeo carried 10 cups bag, and then his last name is Dubes. This might be my favorite receiver ever. But I think it's Dubs. But I think there's something sneaky coming out of Green Bay, at least big play wise, from one of those 2 rookies. If you, as your 3rd wide receiver, your flex player, depending on how many people you're putting in. And then the Vikings, with KJ Osborne is probably going to get targeted more this week. Another sneaky play. I hate giving people the plays they're going to play anyway. So I think KJ Osborne has an opportunity to do something here. The Eagles gave up 35 points to Detroit, and Detroit is not a bad offense at all, and there's some excitement level for Detroit, but the Eagles gave up a lot, and there are some issues with them in their secondary right now. So I do think KJ Osborne's another sleepy pick for fantasy players at wide receiver.
Hey, I was just telling JP when you popped out here, I was going to ask you about this tight end conundrum that I'm dealing with at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm a George Kittle fantasy owner. I'm not liking it at the moment. And I had to go with Gesicki last week just by default. It looks like the Dolphins are content using him as a blocker for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I don't think I want to go back to the well. So I'm probably right now I picked up Taysom Hill off the waiver wire. Another guy who I thought his usage against Atlanta was shocking because he was their entire offense for the first half and then he disappeared. Right. So I'm debating between Taysom Hill or Ty Conklin, the tight end for the Jets, who has sneaky upside because the Joe Flacco Jets are going to throw 50 times a game like they did last week, probably every week. So what do you think about what I have to deal with there?
That one's easy. We had Conklin, and so did some of my guys who are making a living doing this. They had Conklin last week, and they have Conklin as an arrow up guy that a lot of people don't know about. Opportunities are going to be there. The Taysom Hill thing, the problem is it's a parlor trick. They don't do it consistently. When he comes in the game, the defense generally pays a real big amount of attention to him. So if he doesn't run away for a 50 or 60 yarder because he's a big old house and he's hard to get down, he has too big of a floor for me. And I think Conklin might get 6-7 balls every single game. That's enough in fantasy parlance. That's enough to say, okay, I'll put him in. Every fantasy player that I know that does this stuff for a living, first and foremost, they look at opportunity. That's how CeeDee Lamb ended up in the first round. Even though if you eyeball CeeDee Lamb in Dallas, you're like, his routes are a little iffy. His body language kind of sucks. But whatever, 170 targets will probably come his way. So he's a first-round pick. So from that point of view, and I watched that Jets game, I like what Conklin's doing. And that quarterback and Wilson, when he gets back, need him. So that's an easy one for me.
think those fantasy owners are going to start seeing 12 targets and 3 catches every week out of CD Lamb, and at some point, it's not going to get it
Very
done.
frustrating. You remember CD Lamb wanted no part of being number 88. They thought about it. They talked to him about it. His agent called. They were like, meh, he'd rather be 11. How's 11? How's 11 suit you? And they kind of forced it on him. And then if you watch the game, they ended up with that whole 388s got together and talk about being number 88. It's just more pressure on that young man who, for whatever reason, didn't want that. That was not something that he wanted. And right now, and really, to be honest with you, in his career, he hasn't really played up to 88 standards. 88 blocks, 88 runs exact routes. 88 says, give me the fucking ball. You know, 88 does those things. This 88 isn't doing that. And his body language, even before Dak got hurt, that wasn't a very good pass. I'm frustrated. This isn't going how I wanted it to go, et cetera. So that was something else. You mentioned another wide receiver that you wanted. I think Curtis Samuel's numbers in Washington, again, not as a 1, certainly, probably not even as a 2. But Curtis Samuel's had 2 years in his career where he was that guy with 450 yards rushing and maybe 800 yards receiving, and he's gone over 1,000 yards. He got 14 balls thrown his way or handed to him last week. And if there's ever been a guy that needed Curtis Samuel around the line of scrimmage to make it easy, right, it's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, if you can run the ball a little bit with Wentz and you can give him some of those easy throws around the line of scrimmage, then all of a sudden a little bit opens up on the backside and he'll make some good throws down the field. And I look at this game again. Here comes Washington at Detroit. Detroit's going to give up points. This is going to be a track meet. This isn't over for me. So I really don't think Curtis Samuel's numbers last week were an aberration. I think Curtis Samuel's a really good 3, and he's probably available in a lot of drop ad situations in leagues. I just think the touches are going to be there. The downside with Curtis Samuel is rarely does he do anything that ends up being a 40-yard play. It's a lot of 5-yard plays and 6-yard plays. But as long as you're in PPR leagues, touches, 6-7 touches in a passing game automatically gets you where you need to be because you're going to be in double-digit points. So I do like Curtis Samuel again this week and for a sneaky play in and out, depending on who Washington's playing as the season goes along.
Well, last night I had Mike Williams. He gave me 23 points. Last week I had Josh Allen. He gave me 35, and I still lost to John Smoltz. Just got crushed by John Smoltz. So hopefully it'll be better this week for my fantasy team. Brady Tinker of DSP Media. Tell everybody how they can get your content, my friend.
At DFW Sports Beat is where everything is in terms of tweeting. At DFW Sports Beat, that was the name of my TV show for years, so I stuck with that. And tweeting more and more often. And then our social media for DSP is just getting great. So if you follow all of us at dspmediaonline.com, you can always do that. And we are DSP Media Online at everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all of it. And our social media guy, Kiefer, is just killing it with getting lots of cool bites and information from our shows, your show, my show, the fantasy show with Tito. We're going to do that every Wednesday. Jeff Didoff and I are going to do that show every Wednesday. So we'll get you ready for the fantasy week. This week, the From the Rough show with John Gerber is just turning out to be one of the greatest shows because I love Gerber because you know what? He doesn't ever tell you to make a bet on a golfer that he ain't throwing at least 100 down on. Never.
And
Never.
He's docking big wins.
I know guys in our industry like crazy who are out there because they've been asked to, setting a line, choosing a player, and over and under, whatever it may be, and none of them ever make a bet. So how easy is it to sort of be flippant and not quite do your homework? But John Gerber is a tour player who understands what guy grew up where, what grass he likes to hit off of, whatever. And last year, he was plus 80,000 or so. This year, he's plus 30,000. And every bet he recommends that you make, he's running to the window and making himself. So that show is a rising show as well.
He was on our show yesterday or Wednesday and was handicapping how many guys drink a lot of wine since they're out in Napa. That's what kind of research he's doing. He knows the drunks and the guys who don't drink during the week. That's information you got to have when the guys are in Napa. So there you go. Yeah. Brady, great stuff, my friend. We'll chat with you next week. Appreciate it.
I look forward to it, guys. Sorry about the streaming issues. Hopefully hopefully all of the world will get this figured out because this apparently is what we're doing for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of people doing it. That's one of the issues.
Good luck to the Bucs. Talk to you guys next week.
All right, thanks, Brady Tinker, right there. Yeah, absolutely. We're, I think we put the picks out the other day for Gerber's picks. I'm trying to remember because we're already one round in, and I think he's doing pretty well. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll hear more from Tom Brady as the Bucs get ready to take on the Saints. So the Rays got a big win yesterday. We haven't talked much about them, and they'll have a big series this weekend they just got to take. So we'll hit both of those things when we come back. Stay with us.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
Has that little right to it. Oh, there's a shot high and deep to left off the bat of Yandy Diaz, and that baby is gone. Home run, number 9 for Diaz. And boy, he put a charge into that one.
Oh, yes, he did. And the Rays went on to win 11-0 over the Blue Jays, and still very much holding on to that third wild card position, which will get them a shot at the Cleveland Guardians, which is very good. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by the Jeeves Law Group. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use the Kelly Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? If not, call Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. That's 727-894-2929. So if your car was totaled, you don't think you got the full value, or there was more expenses than you should have paid, you have a case. And it's a free call, 727-894-2929. So call the great folks at Jeeves Law Group, and they will hook you up. Scott Jeeves, board-certified civil lawyer. That difference. Not many of these personal injury firms out there actually take these cases to court, and he does. He will do a great job for you. And they'll take them to court, and that's what these insurance companies react to. So if you want to get the best representation by an absolute bulldog, a gator, I should say, 727-894-2929. That's Scott Jeeves and the Jeeves Law Group. All right, some interesting information from our good friend Greg Auman, who was out at practice. He says, so it looks like Chris Godwin is likely out and Donovan Smith is doubtful for Sunday. The only other real question mark is maybe Zion McCollum, who is coming from mainstream. So he said that Evans was out there today and Russell Gage was out there today. So it seems like my worst fears may come true, and that's that Donovan Smith won't play. And if he does play, how good will he be able to play if he's got a bad elbow and he's going up against Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport? That's going to be an issue.
Not good. No.
That's gonna be an issue.
Did want to read a comment here from T. Coral. Another great show. Thank you. I think both the Bucs and Knowles need to control the lines of scrimmage and run the damn ball. Setting up the downfield passing game. Is Rudolph a healthy scratch? Can he not block? It's certainly not his expertise. to be a blocker, Kyle Rudolph. And I think what it comes down to is he doesn't play special teams.
Right.
And the other two guys do. And because the Bucs, like we think, are shifting the way they're playing on offense to a more of a balanced attack, having Kate Otten and especially having Keith, who I love. I'm going to be banging my Keith drum till forever this season. I love me some Keith. You got to have him in there to run block. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see Kyle Rudolph a healthy scratch once again.
I would agree with that because Keith was lining up the I formation as a fullback and making some tremendous lead blocks on linebackers. He sprung Leonard Fournette on a couple of those off-tackle plays. They were also using him kind of as an H-back in that, and he's a really, really good blocker. He's a tenacious blocker, and I do believe they're going to feature the run. Why would you go away from what you did so well last week against the team that you definitely need to run the ball against and was vulnerable to the run against the Falcons? That's a no-brainer. So, yeah, I would expect that situation to stay the same. But, again, Donovan Smith is a question mark. And of course, if you don't have Donovan Smith or he's not at 100% and Josh Wells is at that position, do you really want to be dropping back 40 times?
No.
Absolutely 100% not.
And quite frankly, that is to me the biggest of everything. I mean, we can mitigate the loss of receivers, I think. I think you can game plan around Leonard Fournette maybe as well. But if you don't have Donovan Smith in there, and we can get to our game picks at some point here in the last 20 minutes or so, but I have a hard time picking the Bucs to win this game if Donovan Smith's not in there. That's just me. I really do.
The Bucs win this game. It's going to be a 20-17. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I would pound the under, folks, on this one because I think the Bucs defense is fantastic as well. I would pound the under on this one. It's a toss-up to me. It's really as if whoever gets, that big turnover, like in last night's game, whoever gets that game-changing turnover is going to win this game. And Jameis Winston is known to throw a couple of those, but Brady.
It's a new Jameis a little bit though.
Yeah, that's got that. He's got those new eyes. He's got that new eyes, the new knee, the new everything, right? And he's been better since he got freaking LASIK surgery. I mean, the fact that he never got it before is still a mystery.
Right? Did that exist when Vinny Testaverde was around, or no?
Yeah, I think it did.
I have to think it did.
Well, he was colorblind. LASIK doesn't fix that. He was. Hard to be a quarterback in this league when you're colorblind. That was tough.
I wanted to read this comment real quick.
Sure.
Just because we love to pimp how great we live in this city. Richie P said Tampa Love went to the Kevin Hart show last night. He put over Tampa Bay, saying to all, "I promise you, Tampa, whenever I do a world tour, you will always be on my list."
Hey, nice.
Damn right, Kevin Hart. Shout out this area. Don't be spending time in Miami. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Probably says that to every city he goes to, you think?
Yeah, maybe, but
you never know.
Somebody's got to give this area some love.
I say we stop promoting it.
Small market, my ass.
I say we stop telling people to move here. It's getting a little.
That's
crowded.
true. That is true, actually.
Yeah, don't come here. It sucks.
Take it back, Kevin, please.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Shane McClanahan did not miss a beat, bro.
No, he
was
did not.
Fantastic yesterday. 5 strikeouts, 5 scoreless innings for Shane coming off that shoulder impingement. That was fantastic. You heard Yandy with the big home run, the 3-run shot. Paredes got a home run yesterday.
That's what happens, man. You have to. Well, actually, no. We need you to keep talking down to Isaac Paredes. We need you to. Because every time you do, it's that effect where the next game he comes out and he hits a bomb or he does something crazy. So please keep the Isaac Paredes slander going.
Well, we trashed their offense yesterday.
Yeah.
And the right on cue is always with me in the Rays.
Hey.
If I trash something that they're doing, they come out and so I took one for the team yesterday.
The stars aligned yesterday. Roberto Clemente Day.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Cash pushing the right buttons accidentally with the first ever all Hispanic Latino lineup in the history of Major League Baseball. And they go out there all wearing 21, by the way, and put up 11 runs and shut out the damn Blue Jays. How about that?
Play the Cash post because in here he says he didn't know.
He said he didn't know. Yeah.
Well, then who's making the lineup? It was just by accident?
I don't know.
I thought it was intentional by on Roberto Clemente Day. Are we saying that was just a complete accident?
That's what he's saying, but who knows? Let's see what he had to say here in this post.
All right, I guess just first of all, before we get to the offense, Shane McClanahan in his first start since coming off the IL looked like you didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It was quite refreshing to see the first inning and the stuff coming out, and then he maintained it. He walked off in the fourth inning saying, I'm good, letting us know that he wanted to go back out there. And because of his efficiency, it felt like it made sense.
And then the 11 runs, of course, highlighted by Yandy Diaz's 3-run home run. Just how nice was that to see from the offense after you talked about wanting to get the bats going?
Yeah, it was big, and I know how the game ended up, but Gosman's nasty, and it was good to get those runs. He had really good stuff going today, so for Yandy to come up in a big way, Pinto good to get the RBI knock, and then Yandy kind of really capitalized with the three-run homer.
And then lastly, some history made today. All 9 of the starting hitters took a picture on the field afterwards. It's the first time in Major League Baseball history a starting lineup has been all Latino, and on Roberto Clemente Day. Just how cool is that?
It's pretty cool. I didn't know that till halfway through the game. Somebody had mentioned to me, but it's very surprising at the same point, just because the Latino community, the impact they had on Major League Baseball for so many years, and extremely fitting to be on Roberto Clemente Day.
So he didn't know.
No.
So the organization did this.
Maybe.
Not shocking.
Maybe.
That's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, that was interesting on Roberto Clemente to do that, out and scored 11 runs. So it was, but I find it interesting. Does that tell us that Cash is not making lineups? Because I think it was intentional. I think it was intentional by the organization, which is great.
I'm surprised by that stat. How has that never happened?
But I'm getting to the other part. So they did it on Roberto Clemente Day for a statement.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't know that they're all Latino. So that tells me, hey, Kevin, here's the lineup for today.
Well, we know this goes around all MLB circles that front offices do have a say in what goes on in these lineups now. So
well, they sure do here.
They sure do here. But it made for whoever decided it made for a great moment.
It did, absolutely. But so I guess he can't take any credit for it. And damn you, Shane McClanahan, you gringo. The hell are you doing? Oh my God. Messing up the whole. What? We couldn't get a Latino pitcher to do it open? I mean, come on.
Sugar Shane Day, man.
You
can't mess up Sugar Shane Day, who was throwing 100, by the way.
Yeah, we got to be better than that. Real quick, can we get to Mike Evans before we get to Rachel D'Antonio from Emerging Investigations? She's got some good stories of you cheaters out there.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a new segment, Cheaters. And she's gonna
Cheaters.
when they get another cheater, that they find in their investigations, we'll have the whole story.
Yeah, we'll load Mike here and then hit our final break.
Yeah. Mike,
you got a new picture in your life.
It's Lattimore week.
See that? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. That's cool.
How'd it feel when you guys get your first win of the season under your belts, especially heading into this New Orleans game?
Felt good. I mean, it's very important to start the season off 1-0. I mean, we were happy we did that. Now we got a little momentum. Hopefully we can get another road win.
You guys finally were able to get into that end zone. I know that was important. What was the key to kind of cracking that code there?
I mean, we want to get in more than one time, but we want to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what we've done.
What was the key to kind of cracking that code? Was it just better execution on you?
Oh yeah, just better execution in the red zone. A couple mistakes in the red zone, things that we can clean up.
You played there.
I mean, he had a great camp, and he's a really talented running back. We got to give him a little space, and he'll make the rest work.
What was it like going out there and seeing Julio, hit over 20 miles an hour on that 48-yard grab? And you guys kept telling us all throughout camp, like, he's back.
Yeah, he never left. I mean, just injuries. I mean, injuries are a big part of this game, and unfortunately, last couple of seasons he was injured. But when he's healthy, he's still one of the best in the game. And, he was huge for us last Sunday night.
Well, and they're having him do like the end arounds and stuff too. He hasn't done some of that stuff since like 2018.
Yeah, he looked like a big running back out there. So that's good that we can get him out in space and let him do his thing.
You don't see many 30 plus guys doing that.
No, we don't. We don't. And he's built different.
Mike, I don't know how much you've seen on social media, but a lot of people getting really excited about your one-handed catch for the touchdown, saying they should hang it up in the loop. How exciting has that been?
I haven't seen anything, but people have been telling me about it when I see him in public and things like that. It was a pretty good catch. The picture's better than the catch was. The catch was all right. But, the picture, I seen the picture, like it makes it look like I really just caught it with one hand, but I caught it with one that brought it in.
So would you say like that spinning one-handed grab that you made against Keanu Neal a few years ago when you took that hit?
Well, it was two man, so it wasn't on him. He hit me, but that was definitely one of my best catches. Those two, I got some other better catches than those one-handers though.
Because that was like a one-hander, but it's like you were spinning as you caught it, and you took a hit while you caught it too. And you
Yeah, it won Player of the Year at the NFL Honors that year, so I'll take that. But it's up there for one of the best catches I've made.
Have you talked about that now that y'all teammates?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, even before that. I used to see him, but like, yo, don't hit me again. But we talk about it, and he's so humble and cool about it. And, you know, I like a player that's an enforcer out there. So,
Mike, is there anything that's more money for you and Tom than when you run the fade, whether it's back pylon, back shoulder? He has so much confidence. You know.
He throws a really great ball, and then I have the body type and skill set to go get him. So, I mean, he can throw a back shoulder, jump ball, inside fade, slants. So we're real good in the red area, and we work it a lot. So
do you just react? I mean, he sees where the
it's a reaction, but we definitely practice all those things. So it comes with repetition and timing and just doing it together.
Mike Evans getting ready for a big red zone week against the Saints. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back on the other side, finish things up here on the JP Peterson Show. We'll give you our picks for the big games here locally as the Gators are going down, or the Gators are welcoming in USF. So we'll give you all those picks and cheater stories when we come back.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We have a special guest, one of our new sponsors, Rachel D'Antonio from Emerging Investigations. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been looking forward to chatting with you for all this interesting stuff that you have. Welcome to the show, and welcome to being a sponsor.
Thank you for having me. We are really excited to be a sponsor for the show. We're a big sports family, so it's great to be on a sports show.
And you're one of the Tom Brady new Buccaneer fans because you were a Tom Brady fan in New England. I mean, welcome aboard. We welcome all comers to the Buccaneers bandwagon, but that's why you're a big Bucs fan now.
Correct. So born and raised in New England, have been a Tom Brady fan since before he was even on the field. We kind of knew who he was, and we were just really happy that when he decided to leave New England, that he decided to come here. He actually followed us here.
Exactly.
He followed us here.
Yeah.
He knew where it was at.
I did that all that reporting. You were my source. I knew he was coming here because he was following you. That's how we got the story.
Exactly.
Now, tell me where he's been for the last 11 days for his sabbatical. Did you get any scoop for me on that?
I did not get any scoop. I'm just glad that everybody was healthy, that he's back, and he's going to play tomorrow night. I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch.
Could you imagine if someone called you guys and said, I need you to go do some surveillance on Tom Brady? But you'd be like, Brian, her husband, I got this one.
Yeah,
I got this
I'm on
one.
it. My daughter and I are on it. Yeah, we'd be all over it. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I have said it on the show that because my daughter is very good friends with one of their neighbors on Davis Island. So I might drive by every once in a while, just, see if there's a moving truck, see if there's anything going on outside.
Right.
So see if Antonio Brown's jumping over the wall, trying to get in.
Oh, God.
Because AB doesn't live far from Brady. So maybe do some surveillance on him.
That might be a good one.
That would
might be a really good
that would
one.
be eventful for
I
sure.
would definitely do that.
So tell me a little bit about the business, how you guys got into it.
So my husband has been in this industry for approximately 30 years. We started up in New England, and the business brought us to Florida in 2004. He's been with several different companies, growing their departments, creating different departments, expanding people's companies, traveling the country, teaching adjusters what to do and how to do it. And one day he said, I don't want to be somebody's employee. I want to be my own boss. Little did he know that he's still someone's employee because I'm the boss. But so,
we all know how that works.
Right,
all of us
right.
with spouses. Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
But so, and at the time, my son was 20, 20. And he said, Dad, your industry really interests me. I want to get my license. And my daughter was graduating high school, and she said, I've always wanted to work with Dad, so I'll get my license. And I also got my license, and we started this family business. And
Family
we've
of
been
super sleuths.
Yeah,
now.
we've been in business ever since. We have several investigators that work for us as well. We've got a team in the office that does all our in-house stuff, and it's just grand, to be honest.
So
I love it.
I want to talk a lot about the investigating techniques that you use, and I imagine that social media is something you use quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, and you
lot.
probably have a lot of different ways you can go about getting information.
Correct. We call them internet mining investigations
Right.
because we're mining through the internet. And we have a team that does what we call deep digs into the internet. We look on every single social media page. We work with a couple of different companies too when we need a really big internet mining investigation and we just don't have time. They have different databases and things that they use. We also do, we work with a company doing our background checks and things like that. So yeah, we have a lot of tools.
So if I wanted to, just say, get into my spouse's text messages, can you do that? Or do you have to have property of their phone? I mean, how do you, are there ways to do things like this? Can you divulge those things? Or is it super secret?
Text messages on the phone can be very difficult.
Yeah.
The phone companies don't like when
Privacy
you do that.
rights, yeah.
Correct. There are companies that specialize in that, so we would farm that out, as well as financials.
Oh.
We cannot look at financials, but we have a company that's all they do. So when we have to divulge into someone's financials, and that's only here, we don't do international with
Right.
that. We would farm it out to them.
Interesting. All right. So tell me about some of the stories here. Say you got a good cheating story for me that somebody you caught or didn't catch?
I mean, well, I don't want to say that it's good because it's
Yeah.
never good when you
Right.
catch someone, but did it work out for this person to find out? Absolutely. So we were working on a very high profile case. The parents had actually hired us to surveil the son-in-law. The daughter had no idea. And
Suspicious mom.
Yeah. and
Yes.
She was 8 months pregnant. So we went out over several days and found out not only was he stepping out on the marriage, but he had been lying to his wife. He had been knocked down in his job he was working for the county. They demoted him. So he wasn't even working full time. He was working part time, but he kept telling her, I have business meetings and business dinners.
Yeah.
And he
was taking care of business.
Correct.
That's what he's done.
So eventually we got the whole package together and gave it to the mom.
Mhm.
And, sadly enough, the mom and dad had to break it to the daughter that he was stepping out on the marriage.
And you get pictures and videos and all that stuff.
We had pictures and videos.
Do you follow them in your car or sit across the street, or how
We follow them in our cars. We follow them into restaurants. We follow them into lobbies of hotels. We follow them to the beach when they're having their little picnics, wherever. We have hidden cameras, so we can take video when we're anywhere, really.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you told me that you had one story that turned out well. You did an investigation and you found out he wasn't cheating.
It was actually she.
She wasn't
cheating. Yeah,
Okay.
we did find out the husband was positive. She was absolutely positively cheating. And she actually wasn't. She was moonlighting
See, guys?
to make money for the family. And
That's why you hire professionals
Yeah.
and don't do this on your own.
Correct.
Right. Have
correct.
you had experiences with people who try to put GPS trackers on it? Because there's now stores out there, surveillance stores. I think somebody's telling me you can go get trackers and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, and actually it's illegal to place a tracker on a car that you don't own.
See, there you go.
So yeah. So if you and your wife have a car and both of your names on it, you can absolutely put a tracker on
Okay.
it. But if your name's on one car and hers is on the other and you put a tracker on her car, it can't be used as any type of evidence because it's not legal.
Yeah. So, but you guys can you surveil that way. What's the weirdest thing you've done to surveil somebody or your husband's done?
He's climbed on a roof.
Yeah.
He's been brought up in one of those bucket trucks. He's had acupuncture done on himself.
Why? To get into the office to find out what's going on?
The person who was doing the acupuncture had a claim out that they were
Oh.
injured at one office, but they were moonlighting at another, getting paid under the table.
Oh, yeah. So you do insurance fraud too. Tell me one of those stories.
Absolutely, we do. So we did a claim up in Tallahassee where the claimant was injured in a very bad car accident, and he was stating that he could no longer work, and his life had totally changed since this accident. And over a 6-week period, we were in Tallahassee. We would do 4 days on and then a week off, 4 days on, just because it was a $1 million case.
He was looking for millions of dollars.
And we caught him every day that we were there, building decks on mobile homes, replacing roofs, pretty much any big things that needed to happen in this area, area of Tallahassee. And then we also caught him on his downtime, hooking up his boat, dropping the boat in the water, water skiing, jumping on the water skis. We've just a lot of things. So the case ended up settling for much less.
So how
under
does
100.
How does it get? How does the reveal work? Like when the case settles, you go into a room and they're like, "Well, you're hurt, huh? What's this? A double backflip on your kneeboard?"
Pretty much. They demand what they demand, and then the attorney says for the insurance company, well, explain this, and then they're like, and then they get a much lower settlement. I mean, they could
arrest them. That's fraud. Yeah.
Correct.
Insurance fraud. Yeah.
Insurance fraud.
All right. Well, tell folks how the process works. If they're thinking like maybe my spouse is cheating, what do? They call you? It's free consultation, right? Take me through the process.
Yes, absolutely. So they just need to give us a call. One of us will take what we call an intake. We get all of the information.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to dig a little deep in what we're looking for. So just be prepared to be a little open with us.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there. They decide how much time they want. We tell them how much it is. And
for a retainer.
For our retainer. Yeah. And they decide how much time they want to start with, and we take it from there.
Yeah.
We work for you.
Yeah.
So you tell us what you need and when you need us, and that's what we do. If the best time of the day is after 5 p.m., then that's what we work. If the best time of the day is 2 a.m., then that's when we work.
Rachel D'Antonio, Emerging Investigations. Tell them how they can get in touch with you and take it from there.
So the best way, we have a website, which is emerginginv.com. That's probably the best way to get in touch with us, to contact us through our website. You can also call us at 813-291-FACT. That's FACT. And
For you Gator fans out there, that
yeah. And really that's the best way, is either through our website, on our contact form, or just giving us a call.
All right. That's Rachel D'Antonio. Great to have her on and have them aboard. And if you need anything in that realm, make sure you contact them and tell them JP sent you. I just saw that Gronk was trending. And I'm like, what?
Already?
And it was like, it was all during James slamming down Kelsey and them going, Gronk would never do that. Gronk would never allow that. I'm like, okay, you're right. I thought he was coming back. And the Saints are trending as well. Don't know what that's all about.
Yeah.
Nothing breaking. Sometimes things just trend. Yeah. And there's Jameis eating W's. Did we get your Jameis mashup? We never did.
I did make my little mashup. It's brief and has, some of his greatest quotes over the years. We're already over right now. We can play it. We can continue going over if you want. It's up to you.
Well, why not? Yeah, sure. If you got it, I don't want you to work on it and not be able to play it. Of course, we go next week, but whatever. How long is it?
All right, like 2 minutes long, I think.
Sure. Why not? And then we'll give our picks for the weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me get Jameis queued up here.
I'll give you some. I mean, I am on a hot streak. After last night, after going 4 or 5 last night and 9 and 10 on Sunday, I'm smoking hot.
Yeah.
And finally in the positive territory after that losing streak.
So
it kind of works that way, folks.
So here's some of Jameis's classic quotes as a Buck, and there's some new ones in there from the Saints because he didn't just get less entertaining when he switched sides. So,
so good.
Here it all is.
I say one thing. I want everybody to look at me. I'm going to pass it to coin after I say one thing. Let's go. That's a W. Let's eat one. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight? Hell no.
Here we go. I got the rhyme this time. You got to repeat after me. 1, 2, 3 into the 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
The Bucs, Q's, and C's coming out that door.
The Bucs, Q's, and C's coming out that door.
Now, we don't know how to do these rhymes.
We don't know how to do these rhymes.
We know about pancake blocks and throwing dimes.
We know about pancake blocks and throwing dimes.
Now, the time has come for us to compete.
Now, the time has come for us to compete.
Now, we got to do it one way, one team, one heartbeat.
One way, one team, one heartbeat.
Let's go out here and let's have a great day.
Let's go out here and have a great day.
And let's kick some Jag ass, Tampa Bay.
Kick some Jag ass, Tampa Bay.
All right, let's go. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it, guys.
It's classic. It's classic.
I love the. I felt like your rhyme was a little long. Maybe it ran a little over. Okay. I liked it. Okay.
We were prepared. One thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared. I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. So I said, we strong then.
To be able to work certain things, just because my knee hurting, that doesn't mean that I need to work my knee. I need to work my hips, right? I need to work my ankles. And you got certain things that we're all like, our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your hips, you know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows? Your knees, right? Like, so you better check your sheet.
Hell no!
Check your sheet. I was there for that one.
Yeah, so there was our
we love you, Jameis.
We love you, Jameis.
You're pure entertainment, baby.
Pure entertainment.
I loved all your press conferences. You're just the best. It was so funny how at the beginning he was so honest. And as he got to the last year, he was cliche city at that, even for James. Well, that last one got him fired. The last one got him fired. No question about that.
Real quick, we got to make our picks for the week here.
All right, here are my bets for the week. I'm going to give you Florida State tonight, -2.5. That's the lock of the week. I got the under in the Dolphins-Ravens game. I'm pounding unders all weekend long, folks. They came in big last weekend. I got the under in the Bucs-Saints game. Love that as well. I got the Steelers +2. The Seahawks, I love the 8.5, getting the Seahawks in that game. And the Bengals -7. I think they're going to bounce back with a big performance this week. And I like the Texans in the 10 points. I might stay away from that game at all, but at 10 points is a lot. But the Texans are better than people think.
I'll give you a couple college picks real quick. I got FSU tonight, winning that game. I'll go around the state of Florida. Florida is going to win by more than 24 points, in my opinion. They're going to blow through that
one. I think Jeff Scott. I think
we'll see.
Napier is going to take it easy on his good buddy Jeff Scott. He's going to empty the bench at the end.
Miami and Texas A&M. I'm going to go with the Canes. I know A&M's going with Max Johnson.
Max Johnson.
Until I see it, though, I'm going to go with the Canes for now. Even though I don't think they have been playing as well as they needed to start the season.
Is the best quarterback in the state, by the way. Sorry.
Probably right now. It's not JRP.
Nope.
It's not JRP. And then a big upset for you. I'm putting it out there. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are beating the Oklahoma Sooners. Big noon in Nebraska. They're going to be hyped up with a new coach. They almost beat them last year, or Ohio State that was. I think Oklahoma's worse than that team. Nebraska knows how to play close games. With Scott Frost not there, I think they get over that hump.
I don't see it.
I'm putting it out there.
Oklahoma. I think Nebraska is just awful. They're just awful. All right. Great show today. Thanks so much to our good friend Brady Tinker, who joined us today. Pat Burnham from the Osceola Rivals Network, FSU from Louisville. Great stuff. Good job, Nick, with the mashup there. You guys have a great weekend, everybody. We will be back on Monday with all the fun and frivolity and breakdown from the Bucs-Saints game. We'll see you then.